folks, since I have 4 relatively inexpensive budget LP Les Paul style guitars in at the moment, I thought to do a little shootout video between them. There's some variation in price, but they're all fairly affordable models. This is the one we're most familiar with. It's probably featured on a few videos by now, but this is the IYV ILS 300 EGR, the emerald green, the only color they offer it in. And I'm going to start with this one. Middle pickup, little riff there. What I like about these, first of all, is the price. These are currently on Amazon for about $180, sometimes fluctuating between $165 and $200. So that's kind of an average price. And they are a nice emerald green flame top, not highly pronounced, but a lot of them do have nice flame. Some of them are a bit more plainer, with the cream pickguard and pickup surrounds, and these sort of amber knobs that you see on a lot of Les Pauls. There you can see the Jatoba fretboard. There is some variation on the fretboards that I've had on these. I've had about 7 or 8 of these now. And the sort of crown, typical crown inlays. There's the black-faced headstock with the normal chrome keys with sort of tulip shaped caps, keys on there. Probably a plastic saddle. Really decent, good mod platform for this. I would say that these Destiny CNC wound pickups are pretty good for entry-level pickups. A lot of people are switching them out, but they work just fine. I've actually done a little bit of recording with one of these, and it sounds fine. The pickup strength is fairly decent, not too much feedback. So even though it can be upgraded, I would say that the entry-level pickups on this are pretty good. The downside of this is you can only get it in one color, at least in the US. I think they do a blue one through Indian Vina if you want to pay the international shipping, but the only one offered through Amazon is this emerald green one, which is nice. And I've seen people take the pickguard off and have just a plain green, which also looks good as well. Here's the back side, 2 pieces of wood. And yeah, there's not much more to say about these. I've covered them a lot on this channel, and I think they're great bang for buck, and they're certainly the cheapest of the 4 that I'm going to show you, and there's not really any drop off for that price difference. So this is why IYV or Indian Vina rates the top of my budget guitars at the moment, because they're just doing it a little bit cheaper than everybody else. Another downside that you're probably going to see on most of these examples is if you look really closely, you can see finish imperfections. I see where the binding meets the body here. There's a little bit of green paint on the binding. Occasionally you do see little finish issues on these, but you know, for $160, $180, that's to be expected. Also for these, expect to do a little bit of setup, usually fret end beveling and polishing, sometimes polishing the frets to make them slicker, and sometimes having to lower or raise the action with the screw here on the bar bridge, the tunematic bridge, which is not a big deal, and occasionally adjust the pickup heights. I've never had to replace tuners on these. Occasionally I get a one with a nut that's sort of poorly slotted, so you have to reslot and put a little bit of lubricant in the nut slots to stop them binding. But that's about the extent of setup that I've had to do on these, and every single one of them that I've had really makes a decent guitar, and those who have bought them no complaints. Under $200, this really is a great deal. So this is the Indian Veena. I'll go get the next one. Alright folks, this is the next one that just came in. This is a CNC audio, and I think these go for around $250, so they're a good $50 to $70 more than the IYV. That's the first thing that we have to put into play there. The other thing is, unusually, this is a bolt-on for a Les Paul style guitar. You often see a set neck. This is a bolt-on, so that's slightly different. This is their Cherry Sunburst, and you can see there's no flame. I think it's older wood, if I can remember rightly, and you're just getting the slab, some of the slab cut figure on there, and it is 1, 2, possibly 3 pieces on the top. On the back we can see 3 pieces, so it's probably solid all the way through. 3 pieces of wood. Same sort of arch top and configuration. I don't notice a whole lot of difference between these two guitars. This maybe have a slightly thicker C profile neck, ever so slightly thicker neck on this than the IYV. The pickups feel fairly similar. Oh, I noticed that it's a bit more trebly. It's got a bit more bite on the pickups, about the same volume. And these are just the pickups, that the CNC audio pickups that come in with these. Again, this is a mod platform that you can easily update. It has a similar tom or tunematic style bridge on there, similar cream or ivory pick guard and pickup surrounds and toggle surrounds. I notice on this that the toggle goes the wrong way. Instead of going up or down, that's probably just needs to be tightened, repositioned and tightened. All the same setup issues with this. Had to do some fret end bubbling, a little tiny bit of action lowering to get it to where it plays optimally, and pickup heights as well. Again, probably similar thing on the nuts with these. You might need to reslot them and improve the nut slot and lubricate them so they don't bind. These have sort of Kluson tuners on them with the plastic tulip heads. I actually like these. They feel really good. Certainly, you know, tactile. They feel good in the hand. They're sort of shaped to the fingers. I don't know what you would call that. Indented, maybe. Similar mother of pearl sort of block crown inlays, and what looks to, yes, definitely a rosewood bridge, very dark color on this, very similar amber style knobs on this. So I mean, you might be able to get this a bit cheaper, say $220, but I think they're pretty consistently up around the $250 mark, maybe a bit more with shipping. So you're paying a bit more for this, and I have to say it's fairly similar in quality. I think I just prefer the IYV for the flame top, although this one I think comes in 3 different, does it come in 3 different color options? It might come in a couple of color options, I can't remember. You might have a bit more color variation on this, but this is a very credible Les Paul LP style model. The only big difference on this is the bolt neck instead of the set neck, but if you're not a purist, I don't think that's really going to upset you. It feels to be very solid, heavy-ish, but most Les Pauls are. So yeah, this is also very, very competent. Nice binding on this throughout. A good sounding Les Paul style guitar. So this is the CNC audio. I'll put all the model numbers in the description or pop them up on the screen. So this is number 2 in our comparison. Let me grab number 3. Okay folks, as with most of my review videos, I'm just using very basic plain amp sounds. For a reason, I find with a lot of reviews, people just give you all their pedals and amp sounds rather than the guitar. So a very basic Black Star practice amp with flat settings is what you're getting through, and take this into consideration. It's coming compressed through digital sound, so you're not getting an exact reproduction, but it's better than hearing somebody's tube screamers and stuff like that. This one you haven't seen yet, and I will be doing a full review for this in the near future. This one was sent to me by Jaymz, and this is one of their new deluxe model LP models, Les Paul models. This is their black tea version. They do have 2 other variants, I think a blue, and the other ones are sort of maybe a cherry burst or a sunburst. This one is a quilt top. It's very nice, and it's all one piece back as well, all one piece in the back. I'm not sure if it's mahogany or alder, but the top is sort of quilted spruce, probably a cap or a veneer at least. Again, you have the cream surround, pickup surrounds, and toggle surrounds. No pickguard on this one, and the typical amber knobs on this, vintage style knobs. A much brighter rosewood fretboard with the same sort of crown inlays. This one has Grovers on it as well. Now this, I think, costs somewhere around $300 maybe. And this is available through Jaymz on Amazon. And beware that when you go to buy these, that some of them are for the regular Les Paul series, and then I think there are 3 new ones for this deluxe series where they've upgraded a few elements, mostly the finish elements on this. So the good things to say about this is it plays really well. The pickups are similar to the other 2 models that I played, maybe not as bright as the last one, probably closer to the IYV pickups. Same sort of black-faced headstock that you get with the other 2. I think certainly the IYV model. Yeah, both of them have black-faced headstocks. Similar bridge, tunematic bridge. All the hardware feels very similar. What I would say is particularly striking about this is this quilt finish. It's really attractive. It's sort of a honey burst. They call it black tea. And all one piece in the back, and you can see the figure on that. So where we had the 3-piece with the visible joins on the, what was it, the CNC audio one, this is a really nice piece of wood. With a proper set neck, as per most LP models. Binding, this came really well set up, I have to say. Really nicely set up. Very little I had to do. In fact, all 4 of these came with pretty good setup, to be honest. Some fret end burst and nick off. A couple needed a slight adjustment in the action, but other than that, pretty good. I think this one might have a bone nut on it. Again, you might have to reslot the headstock, but the other good thing about this is these are Grover stamped tuners. They look like proper Grovers. So you're getting slightly upgraded tuners on this, but there again, it's probably $50 more than the CNC audio model, and $100 more, or at least $80 more than the IYV. So keep that in mind. Again, pretty similar quality in terms of pickups. Sound a lot like those CNC Destiny pickups on the IYV. I wouldn't be surprised if these are made in similar areas. But you get the upgraded tuners and the higher figuring, and the all one-piece wood, which is really nice. These are all about the same weight, pretty typical Les Paul weight as well. This one comes with a nice padded gig bag by Leo James and a electric guitar book. So that's another plus point on this one. Let me get you the last model. So yeah, this one, this one is slightly different. This is the model, you've seen this, I did a review for this. This is the Alan Eden model. I will put the model number in the description. And it's, it's aesthetically quite different than the others. It is an arch top with some quilting, not as pronounced as the last version, the Leo James version, but very nice to the naked eye. And this has brass hardware with the black vintage knobs there, and all black surrounds on this, which I particularly like. It also has sort of a cowrie shell. It's not abalone, but you can see all bound all the way around the guitar, including the neck and then around the headstock as well, which is a little blingy for me, although I'm sure that a lot of people do like it. I do like the black and gold though, that looks really nice. And this has definitely abalone inlays, including a first fret, which some of you don't like, you've told me. So the same tulip shaped tuners, but in brass or gold on this one. Feels very much like a bone nut, for sure. And this one needed very little setup whatsoever, except for I had to do a little bit of dialing in the intonation, just a little bit on the top 3 strings. But yeah, I'd say this is slightly higher craftsmanship, but it's a more expensive guitar. I think this is getting up towards $350 or $370 or something like that. But with that $370 price is included, the only one that includes, I'm not sure if you can buy it without this, you probably can, a nice faux alligator hard case. Really nice, fits any Les Paul. I'm sure they sell those separately because Alan Eden does quite well on their cases as well. I have a few of their cases for my guitars. So this one is definitely stands out because it's slightly different aesthetics, looks different with the black and gold hardware. The others were more similar. The pickups on these sound really good. I'd say probably out of the 4, maybe even my favorite. Definitely, actually it's really close with the IYV and the Leo James model as well. I'd say they all sound good. The CNC pickups sounded good, but they're a little bit tinny, brighter to my ear. And maybe it's because that one's constructed slightly differently with the bolt-on and everything. But these are really, really nice guitars. I've showed these on the channel before. I've kind of kept this one because I tend to sell budget Les Pauls. I'm picky about how guitars feel, but this one so far I'm enjoying playing it. The other thing about this, it does have an ebony board which is really, really nice. But it does have that first fret inlay that some of you don't like, and some of you might not like that abalone. It's really, really bright. It's a very loud guitar, bling-wise. But I kind of like the black as opposed to the cream. I like these knobs as well. Yeah, this is a really, really nice guitar. The neck feels really, really nice. I'd say that it's a narrow profile, sort of like the IYV. Not as thick as the CNC Audio one, the second one I showed you. Definitely a narrow profile. Very slick feeling neck with that ebony. I'd say out of all the guitars, this one probably has the nicest polished frets. Definitely not much sound when you're playing doing vibrato there. They're all really decent, but this one feels a little bit slicker, and it's probably because it costs a little more. Maybe they put a little bit more attention into the setup before shipping it out. So I just wanted to show you these four. It's really hard to choose from them. In terms of aesthetics, I really like this one. I like them all, but I like this one. I like the Leo James quilt top as well. I like wood figure. I also like the emerald green flame. Probably my least favorite is the cherry sunburst with the very plain wood with the 3 joins. Not that it's bad, it's just that, you know, it's all subjective, and I prefer these other finishes. In terms of playability, I like all of them. Perhaps this one, and then the Leo James and the IYV are pretty tied after that. Pickups, they're all pretty similar, as I said. I like all of them. Perhaps the CNC a little bit less. It's a little grittier, a little bitier, tinier maybe. I like the fact this comes with a hard shell case. I'm not sure if they sell it without, or if you can do a gig bag for cheaper. You might look into that. And I like the fact that the Leo James comes with a padded gig bag as well. I wish IYV would get on the ball with their gig bag situation. And the same with CNC Audio too. When I do the reviews on those guitars, I have 4 of them. I'm going to point that out, and hopefully they'll see that and take it on board. There's just no excuse not to put a cheap bag with a guitar these days, especially if you're shipping it to someone. So I hope this is helpful. All these companies are underrated. So Onion Vina or IYV you'll find on Amazon. If you buy on eBay, you'll be paying more. Often those are middlemen sellers that mark them up, or it's the IYV eBay seller selling a more variety of models from Vietnam, but they tack on, I think it's $140 of international shipping. So beware that it's going to be more. You'll get more choice, but you'll pay more. The CNC Audio, you can go to their website to buy directly. They also have listings on Amazon. The Leo James, as far as I know, is mostly an Amazon brand. They might have a direct website. However, the model and the variations of that model are available on Amazon. This one here, I don't think it's available on Amazon. You have to go to the Alan Eden website to buy these. They sometimes have listings on eBay, but I don't think they list all their guitars. Just a few models on there. I'm not sure if these are ever on eBay. So yeah, you might want to check on the Alan Eden website, the CNC Audio website, and then look for the others on Amazon if you're interested in any of these models. I will probably be selling 2 or 3 of these on my Reverb page. So I always post that in the video description, so you're welcome to click on that and make an offer for anything that I have for sale. Alright folks, fun little comparison vid. See you in the next one.